Hello, dreamers. This is Genfalcon here.
Oakoi.
Plashanko.
And Vaed.
This is our first podcast for all of you, and today we would like to just talk about what our favorite lucid dream is, what our favorite non-lucid dream is, and we'll go from there. So, we'll start with you.
With me, okay, my favorite non-lucid dream is going to have to be the one when I'm being chased by like this assassin kind of guy, and I'm jumping from mountain to mountain that are poking out of this large ocean. And the way I do this is running a start, and then I can launch myself off and kind of like glide from mountain to mountain, and it's kind of nuts because I don't know. Anyway, I end up getting over to this area of open oceanness, and I'm like, well, crap, I'm gonna get killed by this guy. So I think to myself, well, I have to do something, or else I'm gonna get trapped. And so my vision zooms out of myself and makes like the whole entire area kind of like a map. And I see this download bar, and I'm downloading an expansion pack for like where I'm going to. And when it's done downloading, a fortress is in front of me. Like it's like a fortress in Wind Waker or something from Zelda. I don't know. Anyhow, I land on that, and I'm running away from this guy, dodging every which way, and kind of like hand-to-hand combat him like the whole time. And yeah, it's shorter, but I think it's the coolest non-lucid I've ever had.
Solid.
Word. And the best lucid, I haven't decided yet, so this is still.
Well, we can come back to you.
Yes.
How about you, Pachinko?
My favorite non-lucid would be I had a couple weeks ago when it started off I was in a tux at my grandfather's funeral. I didn't, there was no casket or anything, but I just know that he was dead. And there was nobody mourning, but I could see my family members talking to my grandmother, like trying to say, it's going to be okay, da 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 da. The dream shifts, and I'm standing in a doorway to it's on the inside of a church, another room, and it's me, my brother, and my mom. And in the doorway, there's a girl in a green cap and gown, like she just graduated. And in my hands, I'm holding a yellow balloon. And I said something to her like, "Happy graduation," and I handed her the balloon. She takes it, and then she just lets it go, and it floats up to the ceiling. I just say, "Oh well, that sucks." And then the dream shifts again, and I'm at work, and I'm in my uniform, and I can feel like an odd pain in my side, like I broke a rib or something's missing. So I run my hand down my side, and I can feel an indentation, and I'm like, "Ooh, that's ew. I want to leave." But I was on the clock, so I went and talked to my boss, and she was like, "Yeah, you can leave." So I start heading for the door, and before I walk outside, I look over, and I see a gray sedan driving through the aisles, and it stops at the sliding glass doors. And inside, there's a guy with a really big beard and dark shades. And he stops at the door, looks both ways, and then just drives out like he just made a purchase or something. But so I leave the store and I walk outside, and there's an old woman with really big bug-eyed glasses standing next to a blue van and a mountain of paper-bagged groceries. And I hate doing those at work. And I'm like, "Ma'am, I'm not gonna help you put these into your van." And I look back up at the groceries again, and they start falling. They all fall to the ground into a big pile. I'm like, "Oh, that sucks." So I walk out into the parking lot, and I get into another car that's next to a car that my mom's in. And in my left, there's a half-eaten taco. And I thought, oh, what's the first thing you do when you see food in a dream? You eat it. Yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. So I take a bite of this taco, and I can't taste anything, but I can feel like the shredded cheese and everything like falling from my lips, and I can hear it hitting the wrapping paper. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's probably time to go. So I start driving, and I'm driving down like an expressway, and there's only one car with me there, and they're way ahead of me. And I'm driving, and I hit a slick spot like of ice, and I start spinning out of control, but I correct it. I'm like, damn, that was close. I almost lost it. Keep driving, and I hit another slick spot. This time, the back end of my car starts sliding off the side of the road, and I look down the road, and I can see one of those tall exit ramp signs. And I'm like, oh god, I'm gonna hit that sign. And I said, oh shit, I'm dreaming. I zip out of my car and I watch my car go down the road and just start tumbling and just crashing into the sign and just obliterating. Before I had any time to take control of my dream, my brother had walked in my room and woke me up.
I thought it was really interesting that you felt pain inside your dream. I don't know about you guys, but I have never really felt that much pain. I felt the pressure, but that's about as far as my pain goes.
Has anyone else felt pain?
I felt pain before. I don't remember the entire dream, but I remember this part. I was on one of like the rooftops, like in a big city and everything, and all of a sudden Spider-Man comes out, and I'm like, wait, Spider-Man, hey, and so he starts to like bite me, and I'm like, what are you doing, man? So he ends up pulling me up against the wall, like with his arm, like that, and he has this long like metal rod. Like it's really thin, but it's like long, and then he presses it up against like my balls, and I'm like, that's like the most pain I've ever felt. And like, what was happening while I was sleeping that I actually just, yeah, but yeah, dude, that was sucky. Spider-Man just,
Yeah, it wouldn't be very much fun at all.
Wonderful.
Well, would you like to go, or shall I go for my favorite non-lucid dream?
I can go.
Okay, I'll go first. I think the most vivid one / interesting one to me was I started inside a big store, kind of like a Meijer or Walmart or wherever you're from, like just a big general grocery / surplus store. And so I was walking around inside the clothing aisle section, and this random DC comes up to me and is like, "Hey, where's the bear suit? You forgot to bring the bear." I was like, "What are you talking about? What bear?" And he goes, "For the laser tag game that we're about to play, we need to have the bear, and we need to have a hostage." And so I was like, "Well, I can go get the bear suit from the costume aisle and do that." And then all of a sudden, one of the other DC starts going, "Oh, no, 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 run, there's a bear." And we're like, "Oh, okay, we got the bear part covered now at least." So who wants to be the hostage that runs from the bear the whole time? And so someone volunteers. And so we start playing laser tag for a few minutes. And then so I leave with another DC. And so we're just walking down to go to the front of the store. I had something in my hand, I don't know what. But he just lights up a cigarette and starts puffing away. And then this lady comes up and she's like, "Sir, sir, can you please not smoke in here? There's no smoking here." He goes, "Oh, okay." So he just kind of puts it out. And then she walks away. He goes, "Oh, what a loser." And lights back up and starts smoking again. And then a couple minutes later, she comes back. She's like, "Sir, sir, you can't smoke in here. I'm going to have to ask you to check it out, you know." He's okay, okay. And then so he walks away because he said he has to go to the bathroom. I'm like, "Okay, that's fine. I got to check out a minute. And I got to go bathroom anyways, too." So I go check out and I go into the bathroom. And I see him inside the bathroom again. And there's the lady in there, too. She's grabbing his cigarette from his hand. He's still lit again and is now putting it inside one of the urinals. And so I thought that was really awkward. And so she finally left. And I'm like, "Well, probably shouldn't have been smoking in here." And he goes, "Oh, yeah." And he starts walking out. And so I started going to the bathroom inside the urinal. Now, I'm not talking about like normal distance. I'm talking about like 5 feet away. I was really far back. And I just start going. And I was like, "You know what? I really don't like this urinal. Now, that one down there, like 10 over, it's a really good one. I think I'm going to go use that one." So I start trying to work my way down, and some other DC walks through, and my pee stream hits him. He gets really angry. I'm like, "Sorry, sir, I'm just trying to go down and use that urinal." It's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I understand." And then so I finally get down to where that urinal was, and it's just a wall. There's nothing there. And so I start pissing up the wall. I'm like, "Oh, crap, where'd the urinal go?" And about 3 different DCs start walking in, and so I start having my stream down. I'm like, "Oh, hey, how's it going, guys? Yeah, pretty good." And then the dream just went out from there. It was gone. So that's not my first pee dream that you guys have heard, but I've had lots of those, and that's just one of the weird ones.
Awesome.
Yes.
I like how he was like, "Oh, no big deal. You're just pissing on me."
Oh yeah, yeah. It happens every day.
I understand.
What was your favorite non-lucid?
I'm gonna have to go with this one. I'm in a field surrounded by corn, and I'm walking with a Haitian who has cornrows, or no, not cornrows, dreads. There we go. And he's walking backwards. He yells out, "I love the Wu-Tang Clan," and then he says, "Africans are my bitches." I'm like, all right. I turn around. Dave Franco, he gets shot down, and I'm like, where did that come from? Turn around. I see I don't know the actor's name, but it's a guy, and he's the person I'm after. And so put up my gun, but I miss every time. And so I book it and I go after him. And I'm on this dirt trail, and I look up to my right on a cliff is Samuel L. Jackson. And I'm like, I give away his position, and I put my sniper, shot him down, and I run down all the way to the trail, and I see the guy go in a building, and he throws an explosive, or he has an RPG, and I duck because I see it coming, and I look up, red button saying good, blue button saying bad, and I choose bad. I look up, the guy's there, shot him down, camera pans out. I'm watching the TV as I'm playing a video game. So I played my dream in the game,
Nice.
and then it goes on being a longer dream.
That was very interesting.
That's crazy. I think, should we go to lucid dreams now?
That's fine with me.
So I should go first.
Yeah.
Whoever wants to go first.
All right. I think that I like this lucid dream the most just because of the idea, not really because of like everything that happens, because I don't remember everything in it, but it's just awesome to think about. I was in a hotel room with Genfalcon and Oakoi here, and I ended up getting tired, and I go to a bed, and I lay down in the bed, and when I fall asleep in my dream, I sink through the mattress into like a whole other area of like dream world or whatever, and it's us, and we crawl out of like these Mario pipes that are diagonally out of like the wall or whatever. And I remember that part, and this is the only dream where I looked at my hands and like rubbed them, and this is when I became lucid. I first like poked my finger through my hand and then rubbed my hands, and they were like covered in saran wrap, but you know they weren't actually covered in saran wrap. It was just the texture that they were, and like the vibration was like freaking nuts. And then looking back at that dream and realizing, wow, this is a dream within a dream that I had that was lucid. And then yeah, so I woke up from that dream, back into the hotel room, told you guys about it, and then went back down into my mattress and went back into the same area, and then popped back up again, down again, and then woke up after that again. So like I had like a dream within a dream that was lucid, and the dream that was not, you know, the first one wasn't lucid. And that just like, how does that happen? I don't know. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, I like it.
It's very interesting stuff.
Quite. My favorite one, actually my current and only one for now, would be I'm in my high school class, my agricultural science class with my teacher, Mr. B. I ask him if I can go to the restroom, and I go almost every block because I have to go a lot. And he gives this snarky remark. He's like, "Really? You go every day?" And I tell him, "Hey, my body's on a clock. When I have to go, I have to go." So he's like, "Fine." So I'm walking down the hallway with my buddy Joey, who's pushing a black cart for like a broadcasting class. And we keep walking, and then it shifts, but I'm still in the same dream. I'm just walking down a different hallway to the same destination. And as I'm walking, I look up and I see a memorial photo for a friend that had just died. I'm like, oh, that's really sad. It was just his Facebook pictures. By now, there's a bunch of DCs around me, just like running amok, just messing around. I start to walk into the hallway of the bathroom, and I stop and turn around, and there's two guys sitting on a bench, and one of them throws a football to me, like a Nerf football, and I catch it. But when I caught it, I started laughing, like cackling. I just started making this really weird sound, like, you don't know what you've just done. And I'm like, that was really weird. So I toss him back the football, I turn back around, and I stop and go, wait a minute. I just went to do my reality check. I'm like, no, I'm not dreaming. I'm at school right now. Turn back around, I go, wait. Do it again. And I go, holy shit, I'm dreaming. And once I became aware in my dream started becoming unstable. So I put my hands together and I started rubbing them, and I can feel the heat and the friction. And I say, 100% clarity now. And when it happens, everything becomes smooth and normal. After that happened, I'm like, holy shit, that just worked. So, and of course now all these different things are running through my head. What do I want to do? What do I want to do? And what's one of the few things you want to do when you become aware in a dream is flying.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, fuck it, let's just fly. So I take 2 steps up. I take 2 steps and I start gliding off the floor, and I start phasing through the ceiling of my school. And while I'm going through, I can hear this really cheesy sci-fi like from like Halo or something. And I can see like this blue like orb just going over that part that's phasing through. I get my arms through, and then I get my head through. But as the roof passes my ears, I hear this. Woof. I'm like, oh shit, that's cool. I keep going up. I finally get through the top part, like so the outside roof. But when I get out, it's just black. And then I opened my eyes and it was back in my bed.
Oh,
Well, I wasn't even disappointed. I was so happy that I just had my first lucid dream, and it was one of the coolest things I've ever felt.
I'd have to agree. I think my very first lucid dream doing those reality checks is the coolest feeling.
Which I was very surprised that I didn't remember to stabilize it.
Yeah.
Like it was so cool just feeling your own body in your dream like that.
My very first lucid, all that happened is I was in a room, something didn't seem right, and I was like, wait, am I dreaming? And I pinched my nose and breathed through. I'm like, oh, I'm dreaming. Nothing. That was the dream. So yours had a little bit better than my first dream.
Oh man, mine was just I was like on the middle of like this enormous space of just blackness, and I was standing on this platform. There was a girl next to me, and I just had the thought, I'm dreaming now. This can't be real. I'm dreaming. And so I kind of like look around, and then I remember seeing a tree, and I wanted to like start going for it, but then I woke up, but then yeah, it just ended. So
Something I wanted to touch on before we get into ours was you both mentioned doing reality checks and rubbing your hands.
Mhm.
Now,
plugging
I
nose.
would I think the rubbing the hands though has been like the craziest feeling. I mean, just rubbing your hands in person, it doesn't really feel like anything.
Yeah.
But in the dream, it was so crazy. It just I could feel like every single like small like
It
crevice
felt
Yeah.
real.
of my hand.
Yeah, being able to feel something physical, something tangible is really nuts.
Yeah, like in a recent lucid dream that I had just like the other day, when I became lucid, I think I actually was talking to my dream guide when I did it. I tried to jump backwards through the wall behind me, but it was solid. And I can't describe how like solid it was because it's solid in a different way. Like dream solidness is like so much crazier. And he just told me, well, try the window, and I just flew out the window. But like
Nice.
wall, window, big difference. But yeah, dude, solid stuff in dreams.
Mhm. Care to share yours?
No.
I'm still torn between two different ones. I'm gonna have to go with
I'll flip a
this
coin.
one that it was 3 in a row. So it doesn't really count as one, I guess, but I do because it was the same dream. So I went and I was just driving. So the normal dream just started off. I was driving in inside a Jeep, and I was going out into the wilderness with my fiance at the time, or still together. But anyway, so we pull up to this cabin, and it's getting pretty dark out. So we thought, we should probably go inside, go to sleep, so before it gets too late, because there's no lights inside this place. So we go in and lay down, and so I fall asleep, or at least I close my eyes. Something goes black, and then a little bit later, I recall waking back up, and so I sat up inside the bed, I was thinking, you know what? I've got to get in a habit. I need to start trying to do reality checks whenever I wake up. Because that's a really good habit to get into, because you wake up a lot and you have a lot of false awakenings. So I look at my hand and I'm like, I'll try to poke through the hand. Finger goes right through it. It made this weird sound though. It sounded like silly putty or something. So weird. And the sensation of it was really interesting as well. So I'm like, oh, I'm dreaming. What am I gonna do? All right. Well, first we got to get out of bed. Well, no, sorry. First I thought, you know what? Let's try to levitate. So I feel my body leave the bed. I'm like, no, I can't levitate. That's stupid. And so I felt my body hit back the bed, but I didn't think anything of it. And so I get out of the bed, and then blackness. So I sit back up in bed. Thought, dang it. Could have did so much more possibly with that dream if I would have tried to stabilize or something. Well, get in the habit, like I just thought inside that last stream, try to stabilize, try to do a reality check. So I did the same thing. Finger through the hand, same noise, same feeling. Holy crap, I'm dreaming again. So I sit up this time, I'm like, I'll go try to do something different. So I got up and just started walking around the cabin. I couldn't really see much because it was all dark. And then blackness. Wake up another time. I'm like, oh, jeez. Threw away 2 perfectly good chances to do something. Dang it. Do the habit, though. Do the reality check. Do it again. Finger goes through. What? 3 times in a row? This is madness. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try to learn from my mistakes, though. The last 2 dreams now that I've just had, I couldn't do anything. As soon as I got out of bed, I lost it. So I'm just going to sit here, try to stabilize it, don't do anything drastic, and just sit here and wait until the sun comes up. So it only took about 30 seconds, and I saw the sun rise. I'm like, oh, okay, now we can do something. So my fiance woke up, and we went outside. And so I got onto my Jeep, which chained to a Jeep Wrangler, and I was like, oh, I bet you I can just walk around on this and not touch the ground, because the ground is now lava, I can't touch that. So I was climbing around the front of the hood and now into the top and just doing weird circles around it. And then finally, like, okay, we can go. And so I get into it, and then I start driving, and then I hit a jump, and that's when I lost the dream, though. But yeah, those three
false
in a
awakenings,
row.
Yeah, consecutive false awakenings are nuts.
It seems to be my pattern right now too. I think because I had 3 false awakenings the other night too, where I wake up in the same location each time too. Just something is maybe slightly different, but
Yeah.
Does it feel like you've just woken up? Like you're like,
I remember the last dream in each one too, because like the one I had the other night, I even told a DC that was inside my dream. I said, "Hey, I don't know if it's real or not. I just had a dream about it, but the road's really really bad out today, so just be careful." So yeah,
Are you still doing RCs when you wake up?
I keep slacking.
Yeah.
I keep trying to, but there are some mornings where I'm just super tired or I'm like in a rush. I'm like, oh crap, I gotta go. But I mean, poking your hand or doing an RC like that, it takes 2 seconds. So.
I've done RCs, like I've made it a habit to do RCs, and I've done them, but sometimes like a few times actually one night I woke up breathing perfectly like 3 times in a row, just went, oh, no big deal, just went back to sleep all 3 times, nothing.
I've had a lot of those kind of, but mine are more like a fail reality check. So the most recent one was I thought, oh, I should poke my hand and see if I'm dreaming or not. So I tried to poke my hand, but when I look down, my fingers are like intertwined kind of. And I was kind of like, oh no, I can't get my hands apart. And then I fell out of that dream. And then a different one that was driving me crazy and freaking out was I did the nose pinch, and it worked. I was able to breathe through. But when I let go, my nostrils were like stuck shut. I'm like, oh no, my nose is stuck shut. And then so I started losing, of course, at that point. And then I felt like I tried to pull my nostrils apart. It wasn't working. All of a sudden, I felt my nose start going into my face. I'm like, oh no, you're done. So I'm like digging into my face and trying to pull my nose back out. And then I lost that dream as well.
that's how it was.
Messed up.
That was like how it was for me when I did it the first time. I'm like, this doesn't seem right. And then I pinched even harder, and I can feel like my fingers clenching. I'm like, oh wow, I actually am dreaming. This what? Like I almost didn't believe myself in my dream, which would have been really upsetting if I woke up that morning.
Yeah. So what about you? What's your favorite lucid dream?
I think mine is when I had my first successful wild, like the entire process going through it. And so I turned to my side and I start feeling this heavy blanket and tingling feeling on my arm. And then all of a sudden my arm leaves my dream body. It goes, and then I'm staring ahead, eyes closed. I see this aqua circle. It's big as a dime, and it starts growing. And all of a sudden, my arm goes in front and goes. I'm like, look out! Feels like I'm swimming. In the dream, entirely in the dream, I'm swimming. I look up. I see the sun hitting the ripples of the water, and I'm like, oh, I can stand up. So I stand up, and I look around. Just a huge body of water, no land. And I look up, sun. It's just the heat. I can feel it. I look back down, and the water is a nice dark blue, and all of a sudden, whoosh, I feel the waves hit my back, and it's like really vivid, and it's like I'm really there. And I turn around, and I'm like, all right, this is cool. Let me stabilize the stream. Start rubbing my hands, then another wave hits me. I'm like, oh man, this is distracting. I gotta do something. So I put my arms like this, and I yell, air bubble! And then next wave comes, forms around this barrier, the sphere, and goes around. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. And then the next wave, like it fades away, and then it comes back another wave, and it goes through it. I'm like, let's go Zach Morris. Let's go Saved by the Bell. Time out. Hit by another wave. I'm like, all right, time freeze. Water starts draining, and when the water drains, my old elementary school is revealed. Like, all right, it's kind of weird, but let me go find my dream guide. And I'm like, I gotta stabilize the stream. Look at my hands, they're pruned. And there's this little boy standing next to me, staring at me. I look at him, he's like, are you the owner? I'm like, he knows this is a dream, and this is my dream. And I'm like, what'd you say? He's like, are you the owner? Another boy running around with a ball looks at him and says, don't ask him that. Then I wake up.
Wow.
That moment when you meet that kid,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you are in my dreams.
Yeah, that's like the most interesting thing, but like the coolest ever is like straight into swimming.
First wild is crazy.
Yeah. Now, were you feeling any hypnagogic hallucinations while you were going into your wild?
I guess beforehand, like I do this. My cycle is like doing breathing, counting, and then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go to sleep, and I put that part of my cycle. Then I usually hear birds chirping, so probably heard birds chirping at some point, and I just ignore it. I'm like, all right, this is just part of the process. No need to get wrapped into it. And then I went to my other side, and then the tingly began.
I've had a few. I haven't had a successful wild yet, but I've had several noises and stuff that I've heard or feelings. So one of them, the coolest one, was that vibration that you feel inside your body. It's just like shaking.
Mhm.
And so I was messing around with that. I thought it was a really cool feeling. And I think I messed myself up by doing this, but I was like, oh, I should try moving this feeling.
Yeah.
It was just in my forehead to begin with. I'm like, I'm gonna try to get it onto my foot. And then so I felt it, and it just slowly goes down. Oh, this is amazing. Back up, and then it goes like faster, back up, back down, back down. It starts going faster and faster, and then it just disappears. I'm like, oh, well, that was fun.
I think the craziest thing that I've experienced when I was I'd actually spent the night at Oakoi's house, and I'm laying on the bed, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, this is a great state to try to wild in. I'm gonna try to do it, and start feeling like this most insane feeling, and then I hear this like voice, this really deep, like tough guy voice say, yeah, like right next to me, and I was like, okay, yeah, let's do this, and then his mom freaking knocks on the door, and then I fail at it, but like, yeah, that hallucination was like nuts.
Yeah.
I've most of the stuff I've had is either traumatizing or like I just ignored it. I've had it before when this is before I got into this kind of thing. I'll just be laying in bed and I'll hear something that sounds maybe like a bumblebee, just like way off, but I can still hear it like buzzing around. And it sounds like it would wrap around and then would just come shooting right past my ear, and I just hear that loud boom. Yeah. And the one time I did hear that, my body tensed up and I like shot up out of my bed. I was that scared. Another one that I had was I was laying in bed again, obviously, and I saw a flash of purple. I'm like, oh, okay, you know, I'm starting to fall asleep. I'm still laying there, but then I hear this awful, like half a second sound that sounds like the blue screen of death noise on a computer. Just this loud boom, and I see another flash, but this time it's like magenta. And I'm like, I open my eyes and my heartbeat's just going. I'm like, my God, that was terrifying. But I've gotten used to it now. It usually just goes by. Sometimes my fan can trigger them too, which I think is really cool.
Mhm.
But they're definitely cool just to like listen to because you know that you're going to fall asleep soon.
Yeah, I think the key is for me is not to fall for them.
Yeah.
Because I think the most realistic one though was because I have a light that you can pull the cord on, and so it's metal, so it just goes click. I can hear it like move a little bit, of course. And so I was trying to just do like anti-sleep is what it was called, but you just lay there and you try to go through the cycle of the hallucinations and everything to just get used to them. And so I was laying there, and there was nothing around me. The light was turned off and everything. There was nobody outside the window, and all of a sudden I hear this click. I'm like, wait, why did that just click? There's someone in my room. I better check. So of course I opened my eyes at that point, and of course I ruined it from there. But
Dang.
yeah,
I think one of my favorite one is a visual hallucination. I saw a guy super kick another guy, and he goes flying by my head. It goes, "Shoof," and I can feel my hair go, "Whoosh," and I can hear the sound go, "Whoosh." But yeah, I was like, what was that?
Well, I think we should start wrapping up.
yeah, I think that was a pretty good coverage for today. Be sure to check us out on our Facebook page. As soon as we open that up to everyone, it's gotta be Between Two Dreams right now is what we're calling it. And we just kind of want to make a community of people that want to try to master, I guess, or get more entwined with their inner self / their sleep cycle and
Dreaming.
everything.
And like, it's usually a hard topic for most people to talk about. Or like, just talking about it seems so out there. So it's usually hard to talk about it, and you have to be like open-minded about it. And so we're finding other people who are alike and want to be open about this because
It
it's
is.
something wonderful.
It's a very touchy subject to some people, and so we don't. There's no barrier basically. Whatever you dreamed about it. It's a dream. I mean, what it means we don't know yet, of course, but anything can happen.
Mhm.
So, until next time, dreamers.